This is the issue, and I am the Ghetto Man. Today's issue, the invasion of migrants coming up through Mexico out of Central America have reached the United States-Mexican border. Now, the President of the United States has made it very clear that no one is going to cross that border unless they cross legally. So that's created a problem. Mexico assumed that these people were going to pass through their country and then into the United States. Well, it didn't work out that way. They've become Mexico's problems. They become Mexico's invasion. Now, I'm not happy that that's happening to the Mexican people. First of all, I was born and raised in Southern California. I was actually born in Hollywood, and you really can't get more California than that. We would go to Mexico on a regular basis. I mean, Mexico is our neighbor, and a good neighbor. I've got nothing negative to say about the Mexican people. Nothing at all. Having lived in Southern California, I interacted with a lot of people who came over from Mexico to work and whatnot. And then, of course, I went down to visit, so I got to meet a lot of people down there. And it doesn't take very long, if you've ever been to Mexico, to, I don't know, you learn to love the Mexican people. They're great people. I love the Mexican people. I really do. I mean, who doesn't love their food, Their culture, what a wonderful culture. I love their music. In fact, I love their music so much that I learned how to play the marimba. Because we used to go down to Tijuana, and on every corner, not every corner, but many of the street corners, there were what they called the mariachi bands. And these guys would get out there and they played their guitars and they'd sing and play trumpets and saxophones, and then they played the marimba. Those, it's a little, looks like a xylophone, but it has wooden keys and resonators, and it's got this beautiful, beautiful, wonderful kind of a mellow sound. Well, anyway, I was in a band called the Guadalajara Beach Boys, and we played like Tijuana brass music, Baja Marimba band, and some other different music that was Mexican kind of style, and I really love that culture. I really do, and they're hardworking people, just like we are. I mean, really hardworking people. I have never worked with people that could work any harder. Now, I just, like I said, I have nothing but positive things to say about the Mexican people. The government, on the other hand, like our government, not so much. But anyway, these people, the Mexican people understand, like our government, their government is completely corrupt. And they were going to allow these people just to come through their country and just assume that they were just going to, enter in the United States, and it would be our problem. Well, it just didn't work out that way. Now it's their problem. And the Mexican people, they don't want these people there either. They're calling it an invasion. They're calling it the exact same thing that we've been calling it. It's not a migration. They understand that this is an invasion, and it's invading their country. And they also understand that this invasion isn't people fleeing from persecution. They understand that it's a paid invasion, paid for by George Soros, and also money being funded through the Democratic Party. I call it the Commie-crat Party because there's nothing in the Democratic Party that resembles anything that's American. And they understand that these invaders are not acting on their own accord. And they understand that this has absolutely nothing to do with immigration. Now, Tijuana, at this time, they have over 6,200 people have already arrived there. They have over 3,200 in Mexicali. And they understand that there's going to be at least they expect 10,000 to be there very shortly. And then there's other waves to come, all being paid, all being designed, weaponized to infiltrate the countries, bust in the countries, and then just cause economic havoc. I mean, a weapon is a weapon, right? And that's what they're doing, weaponizing these people. Now, unfortunately for the Mexican citizens, these people are going to be stuck in their country a month or more. It could be a lot more. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But they're going to have to stay in Mexico until they can apply for asylum in the United States. Now, most of these people are not going to qualify for asylum. And the reason why is there are two requirements, all right? The first requirement for asylum into the United States is the applicant must establish that he or she fears persecution, real persecution, in the home country, their home country where they came from. And second, the applicant must prove that he or she would be persecuted on account of just one of 5 different indicia. The first one being race, being persecuted for race or persecuted for religion. Third one, nationality. Fourth one, political opinion. And then the fifth one, a particular social group. You're being persecuted. Okay, now, first of all, that's not what happened. These people are coming from countries that are economically run down, and that's not a qualification for asylum. And the only reason they're coming up here to the United States is because someone has paid them and told them that when they get up here, they're going to be taken care of financially, and everything is going to be just wonderful. It's just a big free ride for these people. Now, Mexico, even though they're the ones that get stuck with it right now, they're offering these people jobs, and they're also offering them asylum in their country, and they're refusing. They don't want to do it. Now, if you're fleeing from persecution, and you come into a country and it offers you asylum and a job, and you refuse it, then there's no question that your intentions are not honorable. There's no question, because if you really were being persecuted, you take the first offer and be happy to get it. But no, these people, they want to come to the United States because they have been promised a free ride, baby. A free ride, and then they're going to be allowed to vote. Now, I was listening to ICE the other day. There was a spokesman for ICE, and they were talking about, how many people actually qualify for asylum that come to the border and come over. And they said, and I think they were really being liberal when they said this. They said 1 out of 10 of these people, out of the thousands, tens of thousands of people, 1 out of 10 may qualify for asylum under United States law. But I think it's going to be less. These people they're given debit cards, and they're having their way paid. That doesn't sound like somebody that's being persecuted in their home country by any means. Now, these invaders, and I'm going to call them invaders, and if they're being paid, they're actually mercenaries, because they're being paid. A mercenary is paid to invade another country and to kill the people and to cause all kinds of havoc in those countries. So these paid mercenary invaders, they're nothing more than what? Economic opportunists. That's the only reason they're coming up here. And for them to refuse asylum and jobs in Mexico, that's prima facie evidence that they are economic opportunists. And they have also been weaponized by the left to be used to invade the United States. And they're being used to destroy our economy and to establish an army of illegal voters that will promote the commie-crats, the leftists, the Democratic communist agenda to bring down the republic. Now, many of these invaders are extremely dangerous. And this is coming out of Tijuana. The people are reporting this. There's rape, there's robberies, there's drugs, burglaries, child trafficking, human trafficking. Then we have MS-13 that's coming up from Central America. They're with them. They're finding guns, bombs, and of course disease. Does anybody ever think about when people cross the borders illegally, what kind of disease they might be carrying with them? I mean, come on, we lost our minds as human beings here? Now, many of the people in Tijuana, as I was looking at some of the videos that are coming out of there, they were holding signs and they're saying things, first our poor, first our people. They do not want their taxes spent on humanitarian aid. They want it spent on their own citizens, just like we do. That's what I love about this, is because the Mexican people are showing the world that they're just like everybody else. They love their country. They don't want people coming into the countries illegally. They don't want people invading their way of life and then becoming a financial burden on the community, as well as all the crime and disease and all the things that they bring with them. So they're upset about it. And the people in Tijuana, they're calling anybody that supports this bunch, just like the left over here in the United States, they support all of this immigration. Just open the borders, let them come in. No borders, no vetting. We don't care who you are. We don't care what you're doing. We don't care if you're a criminal. We don't care if you're a rapist. We don't care if you're into child trafficking. We don't care if drugs. Just come on in as long as we can get your vote. The Mexican people are calling people just like that are supporting this nonsense down in Mexico, they're calling them traitors. And they're right. They are traitors. There's traitors in Mexico that are supporting this globalist new world order where they want to amalgamize the entire globe and mongrelize this so we have absolutely no cultures anymore or no races anymore. How boring is that? The Mexican people are saying migrants, yes. Illegals, no. There's nobody. Mexican people, the United States people, we're not against immigration. We've been immigrating and running around from border to border for forever. But what we don't want is we don't want illegal immigration. So our friends, our neighbors, our good neighbors, Mexicans, they've got a problem on their hands. And they need some help down there. Their government has caused this problem for them. Just like our government is trying to cause the problem for us. If we didn't have a president who obeyed the law, then we would be stuck with this problem. Right now, as I speak, the president said he may close the border. That's his job. It's his duty to do so. He gets his authority from Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution. He is there. He is the executive officer. He enforces the laws of this country, and he has a duty under Article 4, Section 4 to protect every state in this union from invasion. And that's what this is. It's not immigration, because immigration, people come in legally. In invasion, they come in illegally. Now, he said he's going to close the border if he has to. That's his job to do so, and it's his duty to do so. You see, in this country, we have what they call the separation of powers. The judicial and the legislative branch, they have jobs to do. The legislative branch, they create law, constitutional law, hopefully. The judicial, they review law and apply the law and apply the Constitution, hopefully. That's their jobs. The president's job, he's the executive branch. His job is to enforce the law, uphold the laws in this country. And those other two branches cannot, under any circumstances, interfere with that. At all. The only time that the courts can get involved if there is an issue in controversy that has to do with The president's action that violates a citizen's life, liberty, or property, or someone who is a legal and lawful immigrant that's living here under a green card, a resident alien, who is then subject to all the protections of our Constitution as well. The only thing is they don't have the right to vote. The president's job is to protect us from invasion. And that's what he's doing. And that's why now Mexico, who thought they were going to let everything slide through, they're the ones who have adopted that problem. But the Mexican people, just like the people in this country, they have to put up with all the commie-crats and all this unconstitutional garbage that they're constantly pushing on us and trying to destroy our culture and our way of life. They need our support. They really do. They need our support. They need to understand that we need to help them get those people back to Central America where they belong. If the president decides to close the borders, then I suggest that the Mexican president do the same and secure his southern border. Don't let any more in and throw the bums out. I'm the Ghetto Man. Thank you for watching. If you're politically correct, then you're legally wrong. And if you're not part of the solution, then you are the problem.